Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Are non-profit organizations Zakat eligible?
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. It depends what kind of non-profit organization it is. A zakat defined in Islam, not only in the amount that you give, but also the recipients of the zakat are 8 categories defined by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of these 8 categories is called fi sabīlillāh. Fi sabīlillāh, the majority of the Muslims in the early time, in the traditional jurist in the early time in Islam, they will tell you that this referred to those who participate in war, to fund wars, to fund the armies. That's, you'll find it, the vast majority of the old scholars or the traditional Islamic jurist said that. Also, they mentioned, among the famous opinion at that time, Hajj. That's another one can be included, and you can find trace for this as some narrations from the early generation. In subhanAllah, in later time, in modern times, the majority of the Muslim jurists have actually widened the meaning of the sabīlillāh to include everything that it is good cause, beneficial cause, that they can receive the zakat, funds from zakat to help that good cause. And they said, because in the early time in Islam, or the first, early Islam, the mentioning of war and funding the army and funding, the military voyages and stuff like that, needed that kind of help, financial help. But now, after states were established, and now the wars and armies are under a very clear structure, which is called the Minister of Defense, Minister of War. The army is part of the state. It has its budget, it has its own funding. So the Muslim zakat really does not, it became irrelevant to do that, unless there is in a Muslim country, somebody, the imam, collect the zakat, and part of the zakat to funds the army of the country. That's another different story, and that's not what we're talking about. But the majority of the country today, they have a budget, and part of the budget take care of that. So if we say that fi sabīlillāh is still restricted to this, today, one of the 8 category is basically like mu'attal, is not a news. This cause is not eligible anymore. So what they said, we take the other opinion, which is it is a general sense, anything that is done with the right intention, and it will be a good cause. Because war was not established in Islam originally for expanding, to build an empire, or just to occupy land, or to, defeating people and kill people. No, it was meant for a good cause, which is give opportunity for people to know the truth, to remove injustice, etc. So he said, so that concept is still anything that is good cause, anything that bring goodness to people, should be eligible for zakat. Some made even a little bit of more restrictive, and that, the third opinion, is what I believe is the strongest opinion. And that's the fatwa of Shaykh ibn Baz rahimahullah and others. They said, jihad, the word jihad in Islam, is not restricted to the physical war with the army. No, al-jihad in Islam is much bigger than that. So, ad-da'wa ilallah, it's a form of jihad. Ad-da'wa is to educate people about what is good, is to spread goodness, help people to change, to be better people. All this da'wa activity is part of al-jihad fi sabīlillāh. So, any group or any organization or any individual will use this money will be used to help them in da'wah, in education, in Islamic education, should be also eligible to receive the zakat. So that's why you can give it zakat to, for example, organizations who defend the rights of the weak one in society. Defend the right of the people who suffer from injustice. Also, you can give the zakat to organizations who educate Muslims, who educate even non-Muslims about what Islam is, and to defend the religion intellectually. That's a form of da'wah. And that can be an organization, can be a center, can be a school, can be, a think tank, whatever the organization might be, as long as this is what they do and the main function of their activity. And with this, Shaykh, we understand that to give zakat to a center, the zakat I'm not giving it so they can open a masjid salah, okay? Even this is according to the general sense of sabīlillāh, any good cause can be included, But we say if the center have activity like educations, like, representing Islam in public field, giving da'wah, they deserve the zakat. And almost all the Muslim Council of Fatwa today agree into this. Almost. So it's a very popular. It's just interesting, the switch. The majority in the past on something, and the majority in the modern days, which is very rare to find that actually in fact, to say the majority. And that's why I believe if an organizations or do that and offer this kind of service, they are eligible to giving the zakat. Also, I will advise that our zakat should be divided to cover the majority of the 8 categories. I don't want all our zakat to go to, for example, to organizations or Islamic schools, or all our zakat goes to some kind of educational programs, or political activism, or civil rights activism, and nothing left for the poor, nothing left for paying people's debt, nothing left for helping people to get married, nothing left to help the poor in society, and so forth. So the best is to divide this. And my advice also to organizations, that's something we do here in Clear Islamic Center. When we take the money and the zakat of people, we make sure that we also use it in many different ways. So the zakat will be used to help people, poor people, help in different form, paying debts, scholarship, even helping sometimes building wells and stuff like that for poor people to use, or medical help for people who don't have the means to do that in the States or outside the States. And the more you serve all these areas, the better, it's a better use of your zakat. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best.
Barakallah feek, Shaykh. Jazakumullah khair.